And once we get good at our spelling, we move on, as I said, to grammar. Does anyone know what grammar means? This is fascinating to me. Grammar is from the old French word meaning grammaire, which is learning, but it specifically referred to magic learning, learning how to cast spells, incantations, mumbo jumbo. The word grammatica, coming from the words grammar and techne, that word again, means the art of letters. In As it came into England, the word grammar came to be known as learning in the general knowledge peculiar to the learned classes. Because this is the thing, reading and writing was was kept from the profane plebeians, the peasants. This was all kept to the higher classes. And among those higher classes, there would be certain people who would have a particular interest in astrology and magic. And therefore, over time, the word grammar developed the meaning of occult knowledge. This word grammar, when it reached Scotland, became known as glamour. Glamor, glamour. The idea of the word grammar meaning the rules of language is a post-classical development. The original meaning was magic, incantations, mumbo jumbo. This is a word that maybe not everybody has heard. Do a Google search on it. Grimoire. A grimoire is a magician's manual or a magician's book of spells. Um, to be honest with you, in particular, it actually, usually refers to books of dark magic, ceremonial magic, for summoning up spirits, demons, or angels to do your bidding, which is a common theme throughout the occult, by the way. They often discuss, way to make pacts or how to avoid making pacts with these spirits, demons, and angels in these grimoires. So a grimoire is basically a magician's manual, but it comes from the word grammar. When you see the word grimoire, magician's manual, you might as well be looking at the word grammar. So these books or these grimoires provide certain formulas for summoning up spirits to do your bidding. And I'm going to show you how these same formulas are being used today, and that these same methods appear in the machinery, the magic of the state. A grammarian is a student or a writer of Latin or grammar, a philologist, an etymologist. It's a learned man. But another way of describing a grammarian is a wise person who knows Latin, or a magician. Here's a picture of a grammarian or a magician. And I'm about to show you probably some of the most powerful grammarians, magicians, magi in the world today. These are the modern grammarians. The canon law, unum sanctum. Unum sanctum is a claim that the Vatican made through the course of history, which basically, claims the right, claims to have dominion over the world and, everything that's in it, including our body and soul. How do they do this? They merely write words, they spell out words which signify different concepts and ideas onto pieces of paper, and they do this in a ceremonial fashion. And then they take this and they seal it. They take this document, you can see it on the right, and they put the papal seal of approval, the Vatican seal goes onto the document. Then this is then put into the vault or whatever they do with it, the original one. And guess what happens? The world changes. It's magic. These are the grammarians. But it's not just these guys. There's a lot more guys doing it as well. But I just want to highlight the Vatican given their history of control. The word grammar, what we're talking about here, goes hand in hand with the word syntax. Syntax is the art of arrangement. It's the art of putting words in their correct order to convey or produce certain effects. And it actually relates to the word tactics. Tactics means the art of arrangement. So, in other words, syntax could be described as the tactical art of arranging words. Now, I'd just like to backtrack a little bit here. I want to go back to the word glamour. The word glamour is from Scotland, and it means magic or enchantment. The phrase would be to cast a glamour. If any of you have ever seen the TV show True Blood about the vampires and all these fantasy characters, the vampires have this thing that they can do. They can go up and look into the eyes of their victim, and they sort of mesmerize them, they hypnotize them, and whatever they tell them to do, they will do. They brainwash them. In the program, they call that glamoring. They go up and glamour them. So the word glamour originally meant any sort of occult learning. And it relates to magical beauty and alluring charm. I'm going to flick through some images now, and just like you to pay attention to how you feel when you see them, and imagine how others might feel when they see them. So, glamour means to mesmerize you. It's to cast magic on you because it influences you and changes you. The way you feel emotionally when you look at things like this, captivated by the stars and the celebrities, dreamy eyed, and you see uh, people actually dopey under their spell. You have to remember that magic is the direction of energies. You see the lad mags. The emotional, psychological, physical effect these images have on you is magic at work. And then you have the enchanters, the singers, the entertainers. The word enchantment means to sing into. To enchant somebody is to cast a spell on them, but the word means to sing into. So all these, pop, celebrity, music, X Factor, whatever, sing into. And it has this effect on them. They become absolutely, positively, emotionally overwhelmed by, these people, these stars, these enchanters. Because it's magic. They can't control themselves. When we look at the word entertainment, let's break it down, okay? You've got the word enter, which means to go into. Attain, which means to succeed in reaching. And ment, which is the mind. Are you entertained? You also have words like entrance. And here you have the master culprits keeping you entranced and entertained and distracted from the spell, or from the reality, should I say, from the truth, by keeping you under a spell, keeping you in a state of illusion. You've got the word government, which comes from the Latin gubernare, which means to direct, rule, guide, or govern, and ment, which comes from the Latin meaning mind. Government means mind control. Government means mind control. And they do this through their spells and their words. They do this by creating certain ideologies that people buy into and believe in. But it's all just a fiction. It's just an illusion. It's when you hear the state policy, state this, state that, it's just a state of mind. The state of government, yeah, state of mind control. This is what we're talking about here. It's just an ideology that you've bought into. The role of government, right, is supposedly to administer the state, yeah? That's what we say. Government administers the state. That's correct. The government administer the state of mind control. What does minister mean? Minister is someone to perform religious rites, provide religious services, or render service or aid. It's one who acts upon the authority of another, and has a meaning of priest, attested from the 14th century. And ministry from the 14th century means the function of a priest. So let's have a look at our ministers of government. Ministers of government are ministers of mind control. This is an illusion. It's like the dress rehearsal for something, you know? It's like, what if it's all fancy and, shiny desks and all, nice shirts and ties? What is it? It's just an illusion. And we buy into it because that's how it works. That's how the mind control works. Because we're talking here about supernatural forces. Statutes are supernatural. Let me explain. Supernatural does not mean, I'll go back to the definition earlier on. Supernatural means something that's outside or above the rules of nature, the laws of nature. Man-made law is not natural law. Man-made law is therefore outside the laws of nature. Man-made law is therefore supernatural. Legislation is the supernatural force. It's a spell. So, as I said earlier on, a couple of slides ago, it's not just the Vatican, absolutely not. It's our government, our ministers, but also our magistrates. Magi. Huh? Magi. Yeah. Judges are also known as magistrates. Magi, as I've already explained, means magician, and straight is related to the word strategy, which means the art of a commander. Here we go with that word art again. The art of a commander. So magistrate means a magical strategist. So when we see our law books and our case law that bind the court to act in a certain way, or our legislation that binds us to behave in certain ways, we really, really need to realize that these are nothing more than spells, illusions.